We were headed too much into Naruto and now it's time to pairing our fav couple. I have suggested in the end of this video, comment down if or agree. Before we start, if guys or love this content, then please make sure to subscribe our channel and join UU Army. It's really mean a lot. And this story is not written by me, so original story creator, link is given in description box. Let's get started. Right now in Goku's dimension, we find a Saiyan Prince Vegeta and his wife Bulma on the couch in the Sun household. Goten was on a date with some girl, and Trunks was working in Capsule Corporation. Gohan, Videl and Pan was visiting Kai Kai and was surprised to see the two others here. Kai Kai wondered why her friend and husband called to meet her in the first place. Kai Kai, do you remember when I asked Goku to come over to see one of my new inventions I made? Bulma asked, which got a raised eyebrow from Goku's wife. Yeah, I remember. And where is that man? Is he testing that new device of yours or something? Bulma giggled nervously, and Vegeta couldn't help but sigh at how spineless his wife was acting. Just tell her already, woman, we don't have all day, Vegeta said, which got him a slap on the back of the head by said woman. Can it, Vegeta? And yes, you're right, Kai Kai, what I built was an interdimensional device, Bulma said. And Kai Kai said, while using her hand to motion for her to continue. Vegeta's patience came to an end there. For Kami's sake, woman, Kakarot fell into the damn machine and is now in a different dimension, shouted Vegeta. Kai Kai's face didn't change at all. She continued to sip her drink while Gohan, his wife and child had a look of shock. Grandpa's gone, Pan said, while she started to tear up a bit. Gohan and Videl turned to see Kai Kai's face still remain in its calm composure. Mom, aren't you upset about this? Gohan asked, while she sighed. Yes, I am upset about this, but in a way I'm not surprised it happened, even if it's something as dangerous as an interdimensional portal, only Goku would be the one to mess with it, Kai Kai said and chuckled at the end. So, how are we going to get Grandpa back? Asked Pan. I'm going to try and rebuild the portal and lock onto Goku's energy signal, that way I could try and bring him home, Bulma said, and everyone nodded in agreement. Then Kai Kai gained a smile. Oh, and one more thing, she said sweetly, a little too sweetly. Bulma knew something was up, and the way Kai Kai spoke didn't help lessen her worries. But before the genius knew what happened, she was bonked on the head with a frying pan that Kai Kai seemed to pull out of nowhere. That's for being so stupid as to build an interdimensional device in the first place, Kai Kai shouted, while the others in the room sweat dropped. The Saiyan Prince sighed and picked up his fallen wife. Vegeta didn't say a word as he left the Sun household and took off towards the sky. I bet Kakarot's having about as much fun as I am right now, Vegeta thought, while heading towards home. Back in Naruto's universe, Goku sneezed, which got the attention of his pink-haired teammate. Are you alright, Goku-kun? She asked, which got a positive nod from the Saiyan. Yeah, I think someone back home is talking about me. I think it might be Vegeta, Goku said, while Team 7 climbed the last step and entered the third floor of the academy. As they approached the door of 301, they seen Kakashi standing outside reading his favorite orange book. The copy ninja heard footsteps and looked up to see his genin team. So you decided to enter the exams after all? Kakashi asked, and they all nodded in approval. The son of the White Fang gave a nice smile to his team. Well, best of luck to you all, Kakashi said, while opening the door. The four-man cell walked in and seen dozens, if not hundreds of shinobi glaring at them. Goku was surprised that so many people could fit in one room. The Saiyan's onyx eyes scanned the room, seeing a few familiar faces like Kiba, Shino, Hinata, and Gaara, who was looking at him with hard teal eyes. Goku just smiled and waved at the redhead. Gaara's lips twisted into a scowl as his tactics didn't seem to install fear in the Son Goku. But it was only a matter of time before the Jinchuriki got his hands on the Saiyan, and when he did, he promised to spill his blood all over the place, just to please his mother. Sasuke-kun, a loud voice split the silence of the room. Goku covered his ears as they were sensitive to loud noise. A purple and blonde figure came from somewhere in the room and latched onto Sasuke, who showed much annoyance to this girl latching onto him. The girl was tall with blonde hair and eyes that matched Gaara's in color. The girl's eyes landed on Goku and took in his appearance from his muscled arms to his chest that were visible thanks to his guy. Goku wondered who this strange girl was and why she was latched onto Sasuke. No pig, get your hands off Sasuke-kun. Sakura's angry shout of displeasure didn't help stop the ringing in the Saiyan's ears. The pink-haired genin was glaring full force on the Ino character. Ino just smiled at the enraged pink-haired Kunoichi. It seems they will let anyone in the exams if you're here, forehead. Your Jounin-sensei must not be bright if he entered you in here, Ino said smugly. Sakura's eyes burned with a fire, and you could see her ears steaming. The girl's iron grip on the uncomfortable Sasuke seemed to tighten. Ino's eyes then landed on our favorite Saiyan hero. Was the Sasuke-kun Sakura's new boyfriend? Because we all know she couldn't Have someone as amazing as you, Ino said to the raven-haired teen who was starting to wish he could disappear. Before Goku could tell his own name, someone else entered the conversation. It's nice to see you again, Goku-sen. The Saiyan turned to see Shino standing there, while he adjusted his glasses. It's good to see you as well, Shino-sen. How is Kurenai-sen, asked Goku. She's doing well. Kurenai-sensei drilled some hard last-minute training into us before the exams, Shino said, while Goku nodded. Shino-sen, you know this kid, asked Ino, while the bug user noted in approval. Yes, Ino-sen, Shino said, while the blonde Genin scoffed. Whatever, Hess probably not as amazingly talented as Sasuke-kun, Ino said. Ino, why do you have to be so damn troublesome, asked a lazy voice. The others turned to see a Genin with a gray V-neck shirt and eyes that showed boredom, but also a hidden intelligence. The Genin's eyes seemed to analyze Goku for a second, before turning to Ino. We have no time for your and Sakura's obsession over Sasuke here. Both Kunoichi turned and glared daggers at the lazy shinobi. Mind your own business, Shikamaru Baka, both girls shouted, and Ino unintentionally released Sasuke, who went to stand between Naruto and Goku. Shikamaru cited the girls' fangirlish attitudes before his attention turned to Goku. And you are. Goku smiled, before sticking his hand out. My name is Son Goku, nice to meet you. Shikamaru stared at the hand for a second before shaking it. A crunching sound could be heard, and the Saiyan looked over the genius's shoulder to see a rather plump boy walking over to them. This is Akamichi Choji and we are Team 10. What's your team, Goku-sen, asked Shikamaru. Team 7. The lazy shinobi's eyes passed over the original members of Team 7, before reverting back to Goku's. Shikamaru cited how troublesome a foreman cell was going to be, especially in the Chunin exams. Wait a minute, Ino's voice broke into the conversation. That makes 4 people on Team 7, that's unfair, the blonde complained. Hey, leave Goku alone, if you have such a problem with him being here, then take it up with old man Hokage, Naruto shouted, while Ino held up her hands in a defensive gesture trying to calm down the furious blonde. But Naruto couldn't help but be mad. Hess enjoyed having Goku as a roommate. The Saiyan was the only person to never give him the same glares of hatred the villagers did, and he never mocked him on his dream. Naruto was starting to consider Goku to be something he never had. Well, it seems everyone is here for the exams, a voice said. The others turned to see Kiba with Akamaru resting on his head and Hinata trailing after her teammates. The Inuzaka's eyes landed on Goku. You're here too, Goku. Man, these exams are going to be difficult, Kiba said, which Akamaru barked in agreement. Goku couldn't help but chuckle at the two. Good to see you too, Kiba-sen and Hinata-sen. How are you, Goku asked the timid girl who poked her fingers together. Fine, Goku-kun, and it's go. Good to see you too, Hinata said. Naruto was confused on how all of teammates seemed to know his roommate. How do you guys know Goku here, asked Naruto. Well, Naruto-sen, a week ago me and my team went to train, and we seen Goku-sen and some guy with bandages training. Shino said. Guy with bandages. Oh, you mean Zabuza, Naruto said, while Shino gained a tick mark at being interrupted. Before the Abroom could continue his story, another voice made itself known. You guys should keep it down for your own good. Some of the others in this room would like to shred you to pieces right now. The speaker was a guy with hair almost as silver as Kakashi's. His hair was styled into a ponytail, and he had round glasses. Team 7, 8 and 10 looked around the room, and true to this guy's words, the others were glaring heavily at them. Naruto jumped up on a desk and shouted to the others how he was going to beat them in the exams. Sakura pulled the blonde shinobi down and bashed him across the head. Shut up, you idiot. Are you trying to kill us, asked Sakura. Kabuto pulled out some weird cards and showed it to the others. These cards right here have info on every shinobi in this room. That caught the Uchiha's interest. What info do you have on Sabaku no Gara? Hakabuto began to go through his cards before he pulled one out. Here it is, everything you need to know about Gara. Kabuto handed the Uchiha the card. It's weird though. Gara has done a lot of missions and has come back without a single scratch. Sasuke nodded and returned the card. Suddenly an explosion appeared in front of the room, and it revealed a man as frightening as Kakashi. Alright, you idiots, shut the fuck up and listen. I'm Marino Ibiki and I'm the proctor for the first portion of the Chunin exams, the shinobi said, and a new heavy silence hung throughout the room. Okay, come get a number and be seated. Everyone took a number and sat down at their seats. Goku was sitting next to Tamari. The tests were handed out and Ibiki looked over them like a hawk does its prey. Ibiki explained the rules before announcing they could begin. The sound of pencils hitting paper echoed through the room. Goku was having trouble since he was never good at written tests. He began to wonder how his blonde teammate Naruto was doing. Naruto was flipping out, and he had a good reason too. The Kyuubi container was no good at tests, and his academy scores showed proof of this. But Naruto had to answer these, so he didn't fail his team. Hinata, who already finished her test, looked over to see her crush struggling with the test. Naruto-kun, she whispered, and the blonde's attention turned to the Hyuga. You can look at my test, I'm already finished. Hinata raised her elbow so Naruto could see the answers. The blonde refused, saying he didn't want to be the reason her and the rest of Team 8 got disqualified if they got caught. Hinata smiled at how her crush thought of others before himself. Our favorite Saiyan hero wasn't doing any better on this test. Goku never went to school or had any proper education, so he was about as lost and confused as Naruto was. Goku's eyes drifted over to Temari, who had already finished her test. The Saiyan suddenly had a devious idea that could help him. He slowly unwrapped his tail from around his waist and had a tap Temari on her right shoulder. While the Suna ninja was trying to find out who tapped her, Goku took glances at her test and began to write down the answers. This kept going on for a couple of minutes, and you could see the rage and annoyance clear on Temari's face. She thought it was the boy next to her, but every time she looked at him, Goku would have an innocent look on his face while writing down the answers. Finishing the final question, Goku secretly rewrapped his tail and let out a quiet sigh. The Saiyan was defiantly more clever than most people back home gave him credit for. The test went on for another whole hour and a half. And the other shinobi teams were dropping like flies. They would get caught cheating and sent out of the room. Okay, time's up, brats. Are you ready for the last question? Ibiki announced, and the others put their pencils down. Now, before I continue, do any one of you want to quit now or risk permanent demotion? Ibiki asked, and a heavy silence hung throughout the room. Some hands went up and a total of 20 genin were dismissed from the room. Naruto was the only one who told the proctor to screw off, and he would still become the Hokage even if he remained a genin. Ibiki was surprised by the blonde's outburst and looked around to see no one else raising their hand. Well, if none of you are going to leave, then, the shinobi in the room tensed, while Goku himself remained calm. Do you all pass the first exams? Ibiki smiled evilly, while some of the genin in the room face faulted. The window to the classroom exploded, and it showed a woman with a fishnet shirt and a trench coat. The strange woman used a kunai to pin a banner to the wall of the room saying, "Second exam proctor, Enko Mitarashi, sexiest Kunoichi of Konoha. Hey idiots, sit down, shut up and pay attention," the woman named Enko said, while Goku looked at her, and then Naruto while doing a mental comparison. Come follow me to the training grounds to begin your next exam. The genin and Goku followed after Enko, who led them outside of the village and to a training ground that was fenced off. Okay, you maggots, welcome to where your next exam will begin, the Forest of Death. This will be your home for the next 5 days while you take the second part of the exams. And before I forget, I need you all to sign a waiver, she said, while passing out the papers. What do we need to sign these for? Asked Sakura, and Enko gained a deadly smirk on her face. In case you die, Konoha won't be held responsible. Sakura's face turned a real white color. Wow, this is going to be fun and real challenging, Goku told Naruto, who looked at his roommate with a smile and a nod. Goku's battle instincts became on high alert as his hand that wasn't holding the waiver flashed out and caught an incoming projectile. The Saiyan inspected the weapon, and it turned out to be a kunai. Goku looked to where the weapon was thrown and was surprised to see Enko was the one who threw it. Hey, why did you throw this at me? Goku asked, while his eyes narrowed at the proctor. Because Brad, the second part is no joke, and genin like you are always the first to die, Enko said, while taking back the weapon. In all honesty, Enko was surprised the kid caught the kunai, but she didn't let it show. Enko turned her attention back to the others. The rules are to get one of the other team scrolls and return to the tower that's about a mile from this location, she said, and had other Chunin lead separate teams to other parts of the forest. The Chunin gave Team 7 a scroll and unlocked the gate. The second part of the Chunin exams has begun, Enko announced over the Chunin's radio. Team 7 shot off into the Forest of Death. That's where I will end Chapter 8. So what did you guys think? Also, like I said at the beginning of the chapter, I could change the pairings to Narasaku and Goku. I know it's funny I ship them. What do you think, guys? Am I right? Ha ha ha. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please hit the like button and smash subscribe button. Subscribe with Rasengan or Aura Blast. Thanks for watching, guys. Sayonara.